Today I wanted to talk about a couple things, in particular about day game, right? Day game. So what I wanted to do is just kind of like talk about how I day game, my kind of views on day game, and then how we can relate to each other and take your day game to the next level. And then we're going to crack right into the questions, right? So my whole day game spiel, if you didn't know it already, is you go indirect, you kind of approach her, ask her for directions, you then switch the vibe man to woman, you have a chat with her, you keep it casual, blasé, and not too intense, then you invite her out for a coffee in a skeptical manner, right? Now, what does that mean? Let me just check the connection's all good. Come on, connection. We're good. Alright, sorry about the lag. So that's my whole spiel on a day game, right? Is not keeping it too intense. So oftentimes, guys in the community, they like to be super, super intense. Sorry, this is really distracting. This is like lagging. Should be okay right now. So guys in the community in general, they kind of like to keep things really intense, right? They say that you need to be a fucking man and don't be a fucking pussy. You need to let her know that you like her. And there's a couple issues with that right there. First of all, the reason that guys and coaches in general really resonate with that is because it's kind of the easiest thing to do, right? Now, you might be like, Aaron, that's ridiculous. Like, how is it easy to approach a girl during the day sober and tell her that she's really hot? Now, here's the issue we come into contact with that particular approach. When you approach a girl during the day and you tell her that she's hot, you've immediately handed over your book, right? Your story. Now, let me explain. Attraction is engagement plus curiosity, right? So whenever you're talking to a girl, if you make it clear that you like her, then, it's essentially game over, right? Now, of course, we're dealing with human beings here, so that does not apply to every single girl on the earth, right? There's always going to be an outlier, but game, and the definition of game, is that you see a girl, you approach, you do everything right, you adapt to the situation, and then you close, right? So this isn't luck, where, in my opinion, when you always go direct, it's like, are you down, are you down, are you down, are you down, right? So it's looking for that yes girl, whereas with me, I like to see the potential in a girl, see if she's right for me, and then kind of explore that potential overall, right? So when I see a cute girl walking down the street, I'll see her, and first of all, I'll acknowledge what she's doing, right? Is she in a rush? Is she on the phone? Is she, like, busy? And then I'll adapt to that situation, right? Remember this, guys. The difference between intermediate and advanced is that intermediates get laid and approach when they feel good, right? Advanced get laid regardless if they feel good, and they just do it anyway, right? So sociopaths by definition, and I'm going in a little side tangent here, but it all makes sense in a second. Sociopaths by definition don't really have any emotional awareness. They kind of just see something and do it, right? And disregard any emotion, any empathy altogether. Now, sociopaths get laid a lot, but what you want to do is do that, but with empathy and emotional awareness, right? So what does that mean? All that means is that when you see a girl, all you do is you call out the situation at hand, right? And this is going to take your game to the next level, right? Honestly, I've had students come to me and say, Aaron, I feel like I'm intermediate and I just want to take it to the next level, right? How do I do it? The answer is not to approach like 1,000 girls and then get it. The answer is to develop emotional awareness and calling out the situation at hand, right? So if you see a girl that's in a rush, what you don't do is approach her, say, hey, I just want to say something really quickly, you're really cute, I want to say hi, what's your name, right? You don't do that. Ultimately, it will result in resistance, and she just kind of like brushes you off, and then she walks away. You've lost a girl, you've lost an approach, and you're going to blame yourself for it. So how does that do to your self-esteem, right? Over time, it just completely destroys you, right? So what I want you all to focus on is essentially calling out the situation at hand. Now, what does that mean? If a girl's on the phone, if a girl's in a rush, what I want you to do is acknowledge that and then verbalize it and then go into your routine, right? So what does that look like? And what are the effects of doing that? Well, it's pretty amazing. If a girl's in a rush or on the phone, we've already discussed what you shouldn't do. Now here's what you should do, right? By correction and social dynamics. You go over to her. You're aware of the fact that she is in the middle of doing something. So you are interrupting, but that is okay because you're going to acknowledge that. So you say, hey, I know you're on the phone. I know you're in a rush, but I just wanted to introduce myself. Hi, my name's Aaron, right? So something really magical happens when you do that, right? Something incredible is when you call out the situation at hand, all resistance is destroyed, right? Just gone, completely gone. Because it just shows that you get it, right? So there's gonna be no elephant in the room. There's no kind of like, I need to go, I need to take this phone call, right? Which is what a girl is ultimately thinking when you don't acknowledge the situation at hand, right? So if a girl's walking down the street, she's on the phone, what I don't do is jump in front of her, demand her to stop so she can listen to what I have to say, right? You don't do that. And what I want you all to focus on is calling out the situation at hand, right? Remember this, acknowledge and verbalize, right? If there's one thing you take away from this webinar, let it be that. Acknowledge and verbalize. Is she on the phone? Is she in a rush? Is she walking fast? Does she look stressed? A great example was a student that I had in Sydney, right? During the day game, phone game experience where this program was filmed. Now, I'd arranged to have dinner with the student, and it was actually our first session, so just kind of hanging out, chilling, we're going over the debrief, and a waiter comes over to us, and she's stunning, right? She's brunette, blue eyes, unbelievable. I think she was from Lithuania, right? So crazy, crazy beautiful girl. She comes over to us, and she looks at me and my student, and he says to the student, is everything okay with your food, right? Now, I noticed that this girl in particular was in a rush, right? She looked stressed as hell. Her shoulders were up. She looked like she wanted to like scream, right? Because it's a very, very busy restaurant. And for whatever reason, she was the only waitress on the floor. So I know that, right? But I want to see how the student manages this situation. And I hadn't explained to him yet the whole verbalize and acknowledge concept, so let's see how he does. So she comes over to the student and she says, is everything okay with your food? And then he says, you know what? It could be better, right? That's what he said to her. And she actually took it really seriously. She was like, oh, well, I'll go get the head chef. And she was really like upset by the comment. And then he was like, no, I'm joking, I'm kidding, it's great. And then she kind of just walked off. Now, I looked at the student and I said to him, okay, that waitress you just spoke to was extremely stressed. Like, she was all over the place. She looked frustrated, she looked angry, and she just looks like she wants to go home, right? Now, you tried to game her, which is, which any other guy would, right? But what's the issue with that? You tried to game her when it wasn't acknowledged the situation she is in, what she's emotionally feeling. And the end result was that she kind of took it the wrong way and she walked away. Just like a day game approach, if she's in a rush, etc. Now, I said to him, if he said to that same waitress, hey, you look like you're so stressed out right now. Why isn't anyone helping you on the floor, right? Where's all the waitresses? She says, oh, I know, da-da-da-da-da. She explains. And then he gives her the compliment. He's like, you're literally the cutest girl I've seen all day. Bam, right? Oh my God, you've made my day. Thank you so much. Like, is the food okay? Da-da-da. She goes back. She comes back for the bill. You chat again. She goes away. She comes back. And then you leave her the number, right? And that is the difference between intermediate and advanced game, right? It's that simple. Call out how the situation is, verbalize it, acknowledge it, and go from that point, right? So I want you all to incorporate that into your game and post field reports in this group and tag me in it, and then we can develop through that together, right? So that's the first part of the seminar. I want you all to understand what it means to be advanced at day game, right? It's not getting crazy results. What it is simply calling out the situation at hand, which is funny because it will get you crazy results if you approach enough, commit to the cause, and you don't just get blown out of set easy, right? So the second thing I wanted to talk about is dates, right? Dates are awesome. For me, I work extremely hard, and like to go on a date with a girl is the best, like, I'm trying to find the right word, it's the best relaxation ever, right? Alex describes it as actually like a meditation, and it is, to be honest with you all. So if I go on a date with a girl, it's a chance for me to recharge, right? It's a chance for me to let go, like just surrender to the feminine energy, right? Now, how does this come into play with day game, right? So I love to give examples of situations. So let's say you have approached a girl, you've got her number, you've done everything right, and now it's time to text. So you're texting back and forth, and usually, just to throw it out there, it takes about, actually, why don't we do step by step? So we've done the approach, my approach from game. Now let's talk about text game, then we'll go on to dates. Then it will make chronological sense, and then we'll crack right into the questions. So, okay, so you've done everything right on the approach. Now you're texting a girl. Okay, so what you don't do is invite her out on the first text, right? That's just completely destroyed her. It's done, out of it, never again, right? Gone. Never invite a girl out on the first text. Never invite a girl out on the first text. Why? Simply put, it's needy. It shows you have scarcity. It shows you don't understand how cool guys get laid, and it just repels her, and she will flake, right? It's very hard to come out of that once you've done it. So that's the first thing that we need to destroy together, right? Never invite on the first message. So what do you do, right? A great first text that I've read somewhere online a couple of years ago, but I just can't remember who. And it goes like this. Hey, Sarah, was really nice meeting you earlier. Are you usually that friendly to strangers? Wink face. I'll just say it again. Hey, Sarah, comma, it was really nice meeting you earlier. Are you usually that friendly to strangers? Wink face, right? Now let me explain to you all why that is a great first text. The reason it's a great text is because, first of all, it's appreciating her. You said, hey, it was really nice meeting you.